Since last time I've been on the interwebs and managed to get a load of cables and things. In case of contingencies, because there's always the chance that the 1571 doesn't work, we haven't looked at that yet. I've got an SD to IEC. This is a little device, it takes an SD card and it plugs into the IEC port, the serial port. So that's my haul. That's my 128, that's my 1571. Let's hook it all up together. Okay, here we are. The Commodore 128 is plugged in. We have the power supply here that plugs into the mains and into the square pin. The 1571 is plugged into the mains, but it's not switched on, and we have not yet connected it from here to the computer itself. So we'll start off by testing the 128, see if that works, and then if this works, we're going to try the 1571 and see if that works. Okay, so let's switch the monitor on. The blue light comes on and the blue screen of not death, but this is AV input. AV is correct. And now we switch on the 128 and see whether it lets out the blue smoke. Whoa! Commodore Basic V7 122365 bytes free. Oh, did you see that? The screen just went light. That's interesting. Anyway, copyright 1985 Commodore Electronics Limited. Copyright 1977 Microsoft Corp. Boo hiss. All rights reserved. Ready. And the cursor is blinking. That's a good sign. So the fact that the cursor's blinking shows that the CIAs are working, or at least that CIA is working. We've got the power light. That's fallen through, so the mounting for that obviously needs to be fixed. That's something that we can do later. Let's try the keyboard. That's a good sign. Let's try the function keys. Ooh. The function keys actually do something. That's something that the C64 does not do. Let's have a look, see what else there is. Graphic directory, desave. I hit return because, let's try that again. If I now try and do a cursor down, that's going to give me funny characters because I'm in quotes mode. So we need to say quotes. And of course that's going to complain because dsave is a disk command and we don't have a disk drive attached. And F7 gives a list. I guess that's something that we may have typed. Let's go through. F2 is deload. F4 clears the screen. F6 run. Syntax error in 7. That's not surprising. And F8 brings up the monitor. Something else we don't have on a 64. X will quit from the monitor. Yeah. Let's check these keys work. Yes. 4080 display is not going to do anything because we don't have the 80 column monitor plugged in. This monitor will do VGA input, but we don't have an adapter that goes from the RGBI that this produces to the VGA that this expects, so that's something that we're going to have to build or buy. Right, this is a rite of passage. Every computer has to do this. So good. Run. I could have hit a function key, but I've immediately forgotten syntax error in 7. Oh, okay. That's because of what we had before and we didn't clear it out. So we can just simply hit return over those lines again. Go to 10, list. Yay! And if we press the no scroll button, it pauses. Hello, Tim's Retro Corva. I can't even spell. Okay. Let's do this properly. There we go. It's a long time since I've used one of these keyboards, and it shows. After all that. There we go. Now, before we try the disk drive, I'm just going to plug in this, because I haven't really got any software that runs on disks yet, so we're going to use the SD-IEC to see what we can do. So let's turn this off, plug this in. Now, it's important to get this the right way up, because it's not keyed, and so you can actually plug it in backwards and blow up either the SD to IEC or the computer, or both. It does actually have engraved in there the word top, but I've written T in Sharpie just to emphasize that point so that we get it the right way around. Turn this on. Okay, we've got the ready prompt again. Now, if I remember, F3 was directory, so look at that. That's given me the directory listing of the SD to IEC. The lights should come on when stuff is happening. Yep, there we go. Right, so let's deload star, and that should bring up the Bootstrap program in here, which is going to run the file browser. Run CBM file browser. It's detected C128. Loading, and we get a grey and it goes dark. That doesn't look quite right. We can see that there's lots of jail bars on the screen, so the display is not all that good, but we can cursor down on here, and we can cursor up on here. We can go into the C128 folder, and we can see that there's some GEOS stuff, and there's superscript 128. I think that's... now the display's gone light again. I don't know if that's a function of the monitor or whether that's something happening on the 128. Let's keep going. So I think that's a directory. Yep, that should take us back. And it's gone dark again. That's interesting. Okay. Now I know I've definitely got some C64 mode software on here, so let's go 64. Are you sure? Yes. And this brings up 64 mode, Commodore 64 Basic V2, 38911 basic bytes free, and we've still got jail bars, and the colours changed again. That's interesting. Now we can't use deload in 64 mode because 64 mode does not understand Basic 7. So we have to do it the old-fashioned way. Load star, comma 8. Run. System C64, it's detected the difference between modes. That's good. And the colours are slightly different. Well, not slightly different, very different in the C64 mode browser. So, yeah. These keys don't work. That's checked. So let's go to Right. Shift run stop changes it between uppercase and graphics and uppercase and lowercase. So now we can actually see what the text says. 8-bit guy, C64 robots. This is the one I want. C64 robots is going to load this little chap, Attack of the Petsky Robots, which is a game by the 8-bit guy. And if I hit this, that should load the program. Okay, green light is on, it's working. Talk among yourselves. I could have quit this file browser and then just loaded it from the disk in the normal way, but we shall stick with this for now. Here we go, loading tiles. That's interesting. Is that a problem with the graphics RAM, the character RAM, the normal RAM, or a bug in the software? I think it's more likely to be a problem with the hardware, to be honest. Something that we might need to look at, or we will need to look at. We'll see if that continues. Loading music. This is very slow because of course this is running in 1541 emulation, which is very, very slow. I believe it's even slower than a floppy disk. Right, and here we are. Well, the little ampersand has gone away, but I'm not sure whether that is correct in terms of what the display should look like. Let's have a little look in the manual. It's a very nice manual, this. Full colour, 32 pages. It should somewhere, I would think, have a menu or a screenshot of the menu, and we can compare it. Okay, well that's a screenshot. That's a photograph. No, that's a photograph of a screenshot of a beta tester using the program, and we can see here that it's on a Vice emulator, so that should be perfect graphics. But we can see that that's definitely not what we've got there. We've got green and blue banding. So that might suggest that we've got a problem with the color RAM. Or it might simply be that the display is just a bit crappy. And maybe if we go and recap this, it will sort some of that out. Start game. Now, I've got a feeling that there should be some sound with this. Let's turn the volume. Oh, the volume already is at 100%. So we've got no sound. That's interesting. But we've got. We can certainly move the little guy around, so the game itself seems to be working, but we've got no sound. With a limited amount of software for testing, I'm not sure what else I can run. Is that a broken SID chip, I wonder? Or is that some other problem? I've got a set of PC speakers from back in the days when monitors didn't have sound built in. First step is going to be to reroute the audio through those. We'll restart in 64 mode by holding down the Commodore key as we power on. I've also mounted the 64 robots disk in the SD-IEC. $8. See, the screen went light again. That's interesting. That's definitely not something that really should be happening. So this now has the C64 robots disk mounted, and we can see that directory, so we should be able to load start, $8, list. Of course, we're still waiting for it to load. Again, I'm used to modern disk speeds. If I hand crank it, it might go faster. Need a little handle on the side. Here we go, sys2061, that's the listing because we already typed list, run. Oh, that little and sign again. There's definitely something odd going on there. Let's fast forward through the loading process. Oh, yes, that's good. Now the 8-bit guy has brought out a C128 version of this game, which runs natively, and it has both 40-column screen and an 80-column screen running at the same time. I don't have that at the moment. This might just be SID chip music, but it does sound kind of a little bit distorted. That could just be the way the noise function works. Again, it's many years since I really listened to sort of SID music. But that works. The display is kind of crappy. But it's proved the point. Okay. Right. And we do have sound working, so that is a good thing. TM. Right. Let us unplug this. And let us turn our attention to the 1571. Now, before I plug it into the 128, I shall do a magic blue smoke test and just see whether the smoke escapes when we power it on. Because the blue smoke makes the thing work, and if the blue smoke escapes, it stops working. Excellent. So let's turn it off and let's plug it in. First hint of anything. Disk drive on. Now if we turn the disk drive on before the computer can auto boot from the disk drive. At least it will load the first program on the disk. There's no disk in there. We should see it attempt to load, which it does. That's good. And we can type print DS dollar. DS dollar is a system variable, and it's basically the same as opening the command channel and open 15,8,15 yada yada yada. 73 CBM DOS v 3.0 1571,0,0. That tells us what it is. That's very good. Okay. I have a magic Commodore 128 personal computer diagnostic disk. If I hit F3, that's going to bring up a directory. Yay! If I press no scroll, that will pause it. If I press no scroll again, that will keep going. In Commodore Basic 7, there's the directory command, which we've just seen. There's also catalog, which does exactly the same thing. You can abbreviate that C-Shift-A. We should be able to load the first program from the disk. So load start, 8. And it's going to bring up the diagnostic menu program. System configuration options, press 0, set the load device number, 1, set test device number, 2, set test system type. Okay, so this is device 8 and we're going to be testing device 8, so because we don't have another one, but you can load the program off that and test a different drive. That's good. System type to be tested is 1571. Okay, if I press 2, that gives me a choice 128D. Okay, we don't want that. 1571. Okay. When system configuration is correct, press return to load diagnostic menu. I'm deliberately using the 128 specific keys, partly to test that they work, but also partly because I can. 1571 Diagnostic Menu version 1.2. Press 1, 1571 System Test. Let's go for that. Loading. I don't know what it's going to do. 310654-05 ROM not installed in device 8. Okay, this is the updated 1571 kernel ROM. I guess this machine it's one of the original ones, so it's going to have the version 3 kernel ROM, which has got all the bugs in it. Yay, happy us. 0 select device 8. 1 0 stop sensor test. Let's go and let's do one of those. Insert a formatted 1571 write protected diskette with the write protect tab closed. The write protect tab is closed. I know we shouldn't really do it on this disk, but we don't have an awful lot of choice. Right, press space to start testing. Loop 1, loop 2, loop 3. Passed, yay. Write protect sensor test. Do I dare do that? Yeah, let's live dangerously. Insert a formatted 1571 write protected diskette. Write protect tab closed. It is. I hope it doesn't fail and write wibble all over the disk. No, yes, good, that's excellent. Press return to the menu. I'm not sure I want to do the other tests at the moment, not with that being the only sort of disk that I've got. Okay, never mind. That doesn't really take us back to anywhere sensible, so we've got to basically reset the... I don't need to turn the computer off, I can just press the reset button. And that might even boot. Let's see. It's going, it's going. Booting 128 factory test. Awesome. Not awesome. Oh. Run, stop, restore will get us out of that. Let's question mark. DS dollar. 51 overflow in record. That was different. So let's load the first program. It appears to be not doing anything. That's interesting. Break out of that. Let's try powering it down. I'll do a full power down reset of the 128. Okay. Power up the drive. Load the directory. Or not load the directory. Drive motor is still going. That's very odd. Now there's a command on the 128 called declear. That sends should send an initialize. It's hard to say it. Should send an initialize to the drive. I guess the drive is sulking. As soon as I turn the drive off, it says file open error. Let's try it again. And I don't know if you can see, but the drive light is flashing. So 51 overflowing record. Well, that certainly suggests there's something that's wrong with it. "51 overflowing record." Well, it was working when we first started. It did run a little bit of stuff, but I guess as it's warmed up, it's throwing some errors. That sort of suggests to me that maybe we've got a dodgy solder joint or something. I don't know. There's something wrong with that drive, or possibly it's a chip that is failing when it gets warm, or a solder joint that's expanding and failing. We'll have to have a look at it. But I think that's as much as we can do today. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. And next time we are going to be future-proofing the 128 while I think about what's wrong with the 1571 and do some research. And then after that we're going to come back to the 1571. Okay, so thanks for watching. See ya. Or in the 1571...
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
Oh, shut up, Siri.